at the end of life, and I was just thinking how much she would have enjoyed this music, because I didn't know Nancy very well since I only saw her at the end of her life. But the one thing I did know is she liked music, and the other thing I know about Nancy was she was a fighter, because Nancy was a woman who, when I met her, had had a couple strokes, and still when I played her the music, she would move. And I know that she had the music inside her. And so we're coming here to remember her and maybe shed a little tear, but mostly to really enjoy her life, because she led an amazing life. And she leaves behind a family who loves her deeply and carries her best values with them. You have in front of you, there's a handout, and I'd like to ask you to turn to the inside page of the handout where it says, "We will remember." And we're going to read that responsively. I'll read the regular type, and then everybody reads the italics. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember. In the opening buds and the rebirth of spring, we remember her. In the rustling of leaves and the beauty of autumn, we remember her. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember her. And when we have joys we yearn to share, we remember her. And now we're very fortunate to have a video coming to us about Nancy from her cousin.
Hi, everyone. I am Rebecca Penny's. Nancy called me Robbie or Robila. And I'm here in my wonderful piano house with my pianos. I wanted to say a few words about Nancy and share some thoughts. She was like the sister I never had. And we were especially close until she moved to San Francisco. What I'd like to say is that I think, as second generation Americans, we, coming from an immigrant background, we all, the cousins, had this idea of education, making a better world. I have a dream. And it was really a caring and wonderful time, except for the fact that we grew up in a time of a lot of racial discrimination and anti-Semitism. The 50s were not unlike what we're experiencing today. Anyway, one of the things that really marked our childhood, and I think Nancy even more than mine, is the death of her brother Stevie. And we were both very young. Nancy is 3 years older. And that forever changed everybody's life, because her father just couldn't accept the death of his son. And from that time on, I think Nancy's mother, her mother Pauline, and Jerry's relationship was really finished, although you don't realize that as a child. Jerry became very abusive. That was difficult. And to cut a long story short, Nancy, who really wanted to become a veterinarian, chose a different path and took a wonderful job for the telephone company, which was really her exit out of LA. And God knows she needed that. She inherited a wonderful gift from her mother, which was several gifts, but the idea of peace. Pauline, even on her deathbed, was able to kind of go with the flow. She accepted every day, and every day was a delight for her. She had a wonderful spirit. And what I loved about Nancy, one of the things, is that she was so generous. She was always so upbeat. She was always found her equilibrium. And when her dad put the down payment on the Rivoli house, that really helped her make a new beginning. And of course, when she met Vince, that was just like the sun coming out, and they just were, I mean, it was just a joy to be around their happiness and their love. And so, in any event, I guess Nancy was, you know, we used to hang on the phone forever. She was a good listener. She was caring. She was so generous and so interested in making a better world and helping the world. When Nancy got up in the morning, even with whatever stuff was happening, she was able to put on a happy face, and she was sincere about that. And we would hang on the phone forever, talking about family stuff, everything stuff, and we would hang on the phone until, as we used to say, the world came right, and then we felt better, and that was a wonderful thing. And I guess I need to add that she was just a terrific cook. I learned so much from her, not only about cooking, but all of the things that I have just mentioned. And as we got older and drifted apart, partly because of distance and partly because of aging, well, we didn't communicate very much. And I guess the bottom line is that I will continue to love her, and I'm sure that she will continue to love me. As I get older, I'm now 77, I realized something that my mother said when she died at 97, which is there isn't such a big difference between life and death, because you talk to the dead like they're living. And I wanted to play a little bit. I don't know where Nancy's energy is. We were both raised as atheists or agnostics as best, uncertain about what happens to the soul. I think there is a soul, and I think the energy goes somewhere. And so this is a message of love and a way to honor and cherish what Nancy and I had together and will continue to have together. So this is a piece by Bach. It's the slow movement from the Toccata in C major for organ, Toccata and Fugue in C major, arranged by Bozzoni. I love you, Nancy. And bye-bye for this, for now.
Season and a time for every we're really blessed by new technologies, but they have their, bugs too. So it's just a little bumpy. Are we good? Thanks. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for your service. For everything, there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to reap, a time to build up and a time to tear down, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to dance and a time to grieve, a time to throw stones and a time to gather up stones, a time to embrace and a time to let go, a time to lose and a time to seek, a time to keep and a time to discard, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time for silence and a time for speech. And we ask John to share some speech with us.
For anyone here who doesn't know me, I am John Kramer, and no, we're not actually related. Although Nancy's father was born in Cleveland, and my grandfather was born on the west side of Cleveland, so who knows? I first met Nancy in September of 1981, 42 years ago. I came to San Francisco on vacation. I lived in Phoenix. I worked for Continental Airlines. And my former boyfriend was a roommate of Nancy's at the time. She had taken in some roommates. And I came here for a week and visited. And I must say that I loved Nancy immediately. She welcomed me with open arms. And we had so much fun that week. And at the end, they said, oh, you have to move to San Francisco. Well, I really wanted to, but, you know, you just don't pick up and move to a city like San Francisco if you don't have a job. And even if you have a job, it can be pretty difficult, as we all know. Well, I returned to Phoenix, and about 3 weeks later, at the beginning of October, my manager announced that I was going to be cut to part-time beginning November. Well, there was a dilemma, but it got solved because 2 weeks later, he told me, there's an opening in San Francisco. Well, I, of course, immediately called up to San Francisco to Nancy and said, I've got a job there. Can I come and stay with you? And she said, of course you can stay. You can stay as long as you want. Well, that stay lasted almost 2.5 years. I slept on a sofa bed in what was supposed to be a dining room. The interesting thing about Nancy is, you know, she loved pets. She had 2 German shepherds, King and Bert. They had the run of the house, and she acquired 3 cats, Manny, Mo, and Jack, named after the Pep Boys in Southern California. If you've lived there, you know about the Pep Boys. They're a automotive parts concern. So living there was sometimes difficult because when you slept in a room with no doors, sometimes you ended up with 3 cats and sometimes a dog in bed with you. But we persevered. Those first days before she had Rachel, those first couple of years, were a lot of fun, and they were a lot of fun afterwards also. one of the things I remember most that was a lot of fun, right after I arrived, she was hosting a Halloween party. The theme was the royal wedding, which had taken place that summer. And so we were supposed to dress as guests or some way. Michael dressed as the Archbishop of Canterbury, but actually he looked like Caligula. And Nancy, from a drag queen friend of hers, borrowed one of his gowns, the kind of thing you'd see a Southern belle wearing. Huge skirt tucked in. Well, to get Nancy into this dress, we had to lace it up. It was like a scene from Gone with the Wind. It was pretty hilarious. And she spent all night being barely able to breathe. Another fun time we had was Bette Midler came to San Francisco for her first concert. And we arranged to get tickets for that. And Vince, who was driving a Rolls Royce at that time for the limo company, arranged for us to go to the concert in the limo company, or in the limo. And we dressed to the nines for this concert. And as we rolled up to the front of the Golden Gate Theater, the crowd that was waiting to go in and gasped and looked at us with, oh my God, there must be some celebrities arriving in this Rolls Royce. Well, they were obviously disappointed when most of us got out, except for Nancy, who looked quite spectacular and was wearing her mother's fur stole, the kind that had the little head and feet hanging off of it. Well, immediately, a couple of the people dressed up as Bette Midler drag queens came running up and wanted to take it from her. So Nancy was our celebrity that night, and after the concert, we went to the Mark Hopkins, to the top of the Mark, for drinks. It was a memorable night. On another occasion, Nancy and I went to Yellowstone Park. I had been there once before, but she had never been. Vince and Michael were supposed to go with us, but at the last moment they had to work or something. So just the two of us went. So we had a grand time. It was early May, and we couldn't really go up to the high country because it was still covered with snow. Nancy very much wanted to go on a trail ride, a horse ride. I had never been on a horse in my life and was reluctant. But we made a deal that if I would go on a horse ride with her, she would go on a hike with me. Well, when we went to the stables to join this guided ride, you know, they take half a dozen horses at a time, and there's a guide that leads you. She was given a rather high-spirited, very handsome big horse. I was assigned to a lesser nag. And as we went around the trail, my horse had decided that, you know, I was a rank amateur and really took control of me instead of me controlling him. Whenever we were on a narrow thing where there was a drop-off, he always walked on the edge. When we were in the trees, he ran up against the trees. After we reached the high point, we're returning to the stables. For some reason, my horse started to nip at the rear end of her horse. This caused her horse to rear, turn around and shake, and my horse did it again. Well, Nancy was able to control her horse, and she yelled back at me at one point after a couple nips, and she said, "John, tell your horse to stop nipping at my horse's ass." And I said, "What do you want me to do? My horse isn't listening to me." Nancy got the better part of that bargain, because when we started out on our hike up towards Vernal Falls, it suddenly started to rain and sleet and snow, so we had to cancel before we got very far. I do want to say that, as you can see from these pictures that we've seen up here, Nancy was always a very stylish dresser. She went to work beautifully dressed. She wasn't in a public contact job, but she still went to work very professional and looking very nice. She always shopped the sales at Saks and other high-end stores. As she said, Jews don't pay full price. One of the best things, though, that Nancy did for me personally was she turned her yard and garden over to me. It was all overgrown and not in very good shape, and over the years we were able to turn it into something quite nice, I must admit. But what gave me great pleasure, it was therapy for me. When you work with the airlines, you need a little therapy at the end of the day. And I loved digging in the dirt and growing things. But I also loved giving her bouquets. And she loved receiving them. We had, for 25 years at least, a very nice garden that had tulips and daffodils, etc., in the spring, dahlias and other things, and mums and other annuals throughout the year, throughout the fall and spring, or summer. And even though she always loved to show people her garden, she always gave me credit. Nancy loved to entertain. She was a good cook. Her Thanksgiving dinners were wonderful. Sometimes we have as many as 20 people there. The other dinners during the year that she celebrated were the Jewish holidays, Rosh Hashanah and Hanukkah. I, being a farm boy from the Midwest, had never really eaten any of these foods, but I came to really love her wonderful matzo ball soup she made, her latkes at Hanukkah time, and oh yes, even gefilte fish, an acquired taste, I tell you. When Rachel came along, it was obvious that I needed to find a place to live. They needed their privacy as a family, and they needed the room, too. Nancy went out for a stroll with Rachel in the stroller when she was only a couple months old, and just around on the next block, she came by an apartment that was for rent. And I was at work, but she went in and sang my praises to that landlord. And when I came home from work, she says, "You go right over there right away. I've almost sealed the deal for you. She loves you." And so I did. And of course, I got the apartment. I had lived in a studio apartment that was furnished in Arizona, so I had virtually nothing to sit on, nothing to eat on, nothing to sleep on. But Nancy gave me a wing-back chair, a card table. Vince supplied some futons, and I was in. I often went with Nancy to pick up Rachel, who was at daycare, and we would come home, and I would look after Rachel while Nancy made dinner. This went on for several years, up even through her grade school years. I went with Nancy to pick up Rachel. Nancy was a very good mother. She was a very good mother. She was a very good mother as a parent, teacher. In fact, she was always very involved in Rachel's school. And when Rachel graduated from Mission High School, Nancy and another parent, were named the Outstanding Parents of the Year. and they were called up on stage to receive a reward. You can't think of Nancy without thinking how committed she was to social justice. Throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s, she was a strong supporter of civil rights, gay rights, anti-war, women's rights. She marched, she protested. When this one was just tiny, she was in a stroller marching with her mother. I don't know whether Rebecca mentioned it, but Nancy came from a good line of social activists. Her grandfather, her maternal grandfather, the Kaplans, was a tailor who had immigrated from Kiev. He and his wife, during the 1930s, were union organizers for the Garment Workers Union. Nancy's father, Gerald Kramer, Jerry, had joined the Lincoln Brigades, which is the group that went to Spain to help fight in their Civil War. However, due to a health issue, he was not actually sent overseas. Nancy's cousin on her mother's side, Saul Kaplan, was a composer in Hollywood for 20th Century Fox. His wife was the actress Vera Heflin. Saul Kaplan was blacklisted during the McCarthy era because he refused to testify in the McCarthy hearings against others. Nancy's mother and dad were always involved in political things, supporting candidates. She didn't just talk the talk, she walked the talk. She's passed on these traits to her daughter also. One of the most wonderful things we did was we all went to see Nelson Mandela speak at the Oakland Coliseum. What a day that was. Unfortunately, the last 10 years of Nancy's life were not as great as we would have wished them to be, especially the last couple of years. But I would implore you not to dwell on them. And as you can see by these pictures, think of all the wonderful things she was. A wonderful wife, a wonderful mother, and a wonderful person. She was like a sister to me. In fact, I received a sympathy card from my brother and his wife, in which my sister-in-law wrote, "I know that your sister friend was a special person to you." Yes, indeed, she was. And I will remember her always. Thank you.
I think most of us here know that Nancy was not a religious Jew, but she was a cultural Jew, and she had a very strong Jewish identity. And so when we recite these traditional prayers from the Bible, it isn't necessarily like we're saying that something that she believed, something she didn't believe, but more we're honoring her background, her heritage, and her tradition, which I think most of us share here of the Old Testament and the Hebrew Bible. So we read together on the inside here, Psalm 23. God, we read together, God, you are my shepherd. I want for nothing more. You let me lie down in green meadows. You lead me to still waters. You restore my soul. You lead me in the paths of righteousness for the sake of your name. Even though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and staff comfort me. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of God forever. I do want to say something about the last 10 years of Nancy's life as she declined, which was that Nancy was extremely well taken care of by her daughter, that Rachel devoted herself to making sure that Nancy had every comfort, and that when I visited Nancy really in the last weeks of her life, she was in a facility that was so kind and caring that they looked after her. She was always clean and well fed, and they got her up and they brought her to the activity room, and people were around her, and she listened to music, as I said, and I read her stories. And so that Rachel made sure, really at great expense, that Nancy was very, very well taken care of, first by Rachel herself, and then by people who devote themselves to being loving and caring to those in need. And I know that your mother was so grateful. And that last time I visited Nancy, Vince came and sat with her and held her hand. And that was really at the end. And she was a beautiful person in life and now in spirit. And Rachel, I'd like to ask you to share some memories.
Thank you, everyone who came today, especially my son Celine and my daughter Issa and my daughter Dahlia. I just, I just wanted to say that my time with my mom, I feel, was so short, and by the time I was adult enough to want to work out our differences, thank you. My mom was already slipping away. I wish I had her in her full wellness when I became a mother. I remember thinking in my 20s, like, I need to have children because I don't know how long my mom's going to be here. And so, but I had my daughter when I was 30, and by then my mom was already struggling. And I just remember when I was still pregnant, she was still kind of there. And I would talk to her. I was on a silent meditation retreat for 6 weeks, pregnant with Issa, but I would call my mom and be like, I don't know if I'm really pregnant. Like, I don't really feel pregnant. And she was like, well, you know, once you like have a big belly, you're gonna feel pregnant. But that's really, yeah. Yes, my eternal big belly. So, I wish my children could have known her in her wellness. But since she passed, I've spoken with her cousins and friends, and the stories they've told me about her have helped heal my heart. I've heard beautiful anecdotes about my mom. I think we could have even gotten along as adults. And I think we could have enjoyed some of the same simple pleasures together. And one day, maybe we will meet again, and then maybe our time together can be much sweeter. I did want to share, I did ask her, because she has family in the East Coast who couldn't be here, but I did ask people for memories, and I wanted to read them. So this is from cousin Nora Heflin. I remember how welcoming and warm your mom and your dad were when I stayed on the fold-out couch in the living room of their lovely San Francisco home. I remember comfort and giggles and love. The fold-out bed had a pattern of folding up in the middle of the night with my feet with my feet and their kitty's tail, who was snoozing with me, sticking out of the top as I called for Vincent to peel us free. And I remember Nancy's wonderful peals of laughter coming from the bedroom. Even in the middle of the night, humor and care touched my heart. The photos and words you sent are wonderful. We'll save and cherish. My mom had an incredible collection of photographs, which we got some of them up here. From cousin Buzzy, who was our first cousin. I have so many memories of your mom. Oh, sorry, Stuart Odell. She called him Buzzy. We were friends as well as cousins, particularly through our late teens, through early to mid-30s. She was a lot of fun to be with and a very compassionate person. I loved her as a friend and as a first cousin. She and Vince came to Bogota when I got married to Andrea, and the trip was a blast for her. The marriage was a blast for me as well, and although it ultimately ended, as most marriages do these days. Sorry. I also remember that in our middle age, when life tends to lose some of its luster, I was traveling to Europe a lot while she was raising a family, and once your granddad died, our connection diminished, but Nancy and Vince were always my favorite cousins. And then from my mom's longtime friend, Jennifer Wilson, my overwhelming memory of Mom is what a wonderful auntie Nancy she was to my kids. She was such a part of their youth. Some of them are here today. There's so much more, but that's where my heart goes when I think of her. And I wanted to share another reflection that just really tickled me from her cousin. When she first passed, and I was calling people, and we talked on the phone, and he said, because I said I intend to take my mom's ashes to Calistoga to be scattered somewhere around where she fell in love with the Bay Area in summer camp. And I was telling him that, and he said, "Oh, I remember this time your mom took me out to Calistoga to watch the geysers, and we smoked a ton of weed." We got so high. And he said, "I hope she was still able to enjoy that." And I was like, well, I don't know. I think when she became my mom, that that may have. But, I mean, I hope in spirit, if you are, put one in the air for Mom. At 4:20 today. And I think I think I'm complete with sharing that. I know it's not, that relationship with Mom can be so full, and I'm just grateful that, yes, I did struggle. I did struggle with her care. I struggled with being truly heartbroken by watching Alzheimer's and dementia, and being truly heartbroken that she didn't remember her grandkids, my kids. She didn't remember me in the end. Maybe she did in spirit. But by the time it was her time to transition, I truly felt love for her and compassion, and truly felt for the nature of life, which is that it can have suffering. And my mom suffered, and I tried to do my best. I really did. And also with this celebration, I'm doing my best to honor her, and I really thank you all for coming. And I'm mommy now, and what I learned, I guess also what I learned from my mom too, some of the things that I didn't get or thought were missing, I'm able to very clearly and viscerally give to the next generation, her grandchildren, and what a family, truly. truly what a family that my mom came from, and also what she co-created with my dad. So we do want to ask if other people want.
So in in Jewish tradition, there's something called Tikkun Olam, which is the healing of the world, and that what we do each day is to do a little bit of healing in a very broken world. And Nancy was committed to healing the world, but Rachel, I have to say, I think the biggest healing that you did is how you are with your kids, and that your kids are just a light, a beauty, and a privilege to watch how you treat them. And whatever bumps you had with Nancy, you've repaired them, and you've healed them because of the way you are with your little ones. And I know that Nancy's spirit is soothed and comforted by your healing of the relationship through your relationship with her grandchildren. Thank you. A woman of valor who can find, she is more precious than fine pearls. Her husband trusts in her and he lacks nothing. She does good and never harm all the days of her life. She perceives that labor is rewarding and her candle burns into the night. She reaches out to those in need and extends her hands to the poor. She is clothed in strength and dignity. She faces the future cheerfully. She speaks with wisdom and the law of kindness is on her lips. Her children rise up and bless her. Many daughters have done well, and you excel them all. Would you like to come speak?
Good afternoon. I am Belinda Edwards. I'm Vince's sister and Nancy's sister. And I just wanted to share a few memories as well that came from my experience. And this is the experience of a little sister's or younger sister's perspective. A phone call with my brother my freshman year in college. And he at that time was living in the Bay Area. And I said, "Hello, how are you doing?" He said, "Fine." And he said, "I'm having a baby." And I said, "With who?" And he said, "Nancy." I said, "Oh, Nancy. Who's Nancy?" So on my next trip to the Bay Area, I had the privilege of meeting Nancy and meeting a 6-month-old Rachel, who was stunning. And Nancy had that ability to just make you feel worthy of being treated well. We had great dinners of the city, a cozy but chilly home, because you know you San Franciscans keep your houses cold. So, of course, I had to ask this new couple, how did you meet? And I'm not totally clear on the actual connection, but the phrase pecks of death resonates in the story they shared. I'll let Vince explain that one to you. The story continued. Vincent, the pizza-making dad, and then a Harvard grad, and of course that's Rachel. And wow, did the smart decisions by supportive Nancy and willing Vince take them all to a next level. The original home in the Haight sold, and now a homestead in El Sobrante, ensuring that school choices from an early age would help to mold her child into a dynamic adult. I too benefited from seeing these examples as I married and raised my own kids. And yes, I'm supportive and I am bossy too. So while Nancy may no longer be physically with us, Her presence lives on in Vince, Rachel, McKinday, Issa, and Salim, and now Dahlia. And in all of you, her kindness, her generosity, and caring will never be forgotten, and Nancy continues. So be kind, be generous, be caring, and be bossy in the nature of Nancy.
Would anyone else like to share a memory?
I have a memory first of my sister, who's not here today and could not be here. But when she met Nancy, she was like me. We'd never met anyone like Nancy. She told good stories. I am from Tuba City, Arizona. That's a Navajo reservation. I won't say anymore. So meeting Nancy was like, she taught me more than I could read in the textbook about California, about politics in California. But mostly, I'll cut it short, I learned more about being an independent woman from Nancy, and I will take that with me. I try to share it with my daughter because I admired her for that, and especially she was during a time when a lot of women were not independent and self-thinkers. I thought she was super. So I also want to read what my sister wrote. And she said, "There is a song from the movie Mary Poppins, excuse me, that comes to mind when I think of Nancy. The lines of the song goes, 'It's a lovely holiday with Mary, Mary makes your heart so light. And when the day is gray and ordinary, Mary makes the sunshine bright.' Replace Mary with Nancy, and you have my remembrance of Nancy, with her health especially. We always look forward to her visits to San Diego, and that's she and I who were talking about it. Nancy told great stories about her adventures with her friends and stories from life experiences and her observations of life, love, and living in the Bay Area. Her essence will be missed and has been missed and will be missed for all of us. To Vincent, Rachel, her grandchildren, and her friends and family, I extend to you the deepest condolences. May Nancy's memory be a blessing to all who knew and loved her. It was a pleasure getting to know her. I will always smile when I think of her, and I agree with that. Thank you."
Hello, everyone. My name is Shanye, and I was a childhood friend of Rachel. I think we met when we were about 13. We were some queer kids running around the city, and I remember the first time I met Miss Nancy, Mr. Vince. They were so wonderful. I came from a really broken home, so coming into your house was like, it's like the Cosby Show, you know? I was like, wow. Because I've never experienced that before. So Rachel and I had so many adventures together. I'm not going to share those. You know. I'm not going to do that. But, right. But what I loved most about Mr. Vince and Miss Nancy is they always showed up and was there for us, no matter what. Would pick us up, drop us off. If I needed a place to stay, you're always welcome to come to my house with Luke, your dog, the crazy dog. But Rachel and I had a falling out when we were in our 20s, and then a decade went by. And randomly one day I was driving home, and I saw this woman walking on the side of the street. I said, "That looked like Rachel." And we hadn't talked, and it was a pretty bad fallout. But I was like, you know what? It's been a long time. Just reach out. You both had love for each other. Reach out. And I looked for her. I found her on social media. I said, I know we haven't spoken in a long time, But I was driving, and I think I saw this woman that looked like you, but she was pushing a stroller, and I don't know if you have a baby. And she was like, that was me. And I was like, what are you doing over here? And she's like, I live here. And I was like, oh my gosh, I live right up the street. So fate brought us together. I mean, grew up in San Francisco, now we're in the East Bay. She's in El Sobrante, I'm in Pinole, but we're only like 2 minutes from each other. And I'm like, well, what's going on? Let's reconnect. And she's like, oh, I run a daycare. I'm like, a daycare? I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, I just had a baby, and I actually am looking for a daycare. And she was like, well, come on by. So I was able to get my daughter in her daycare, and we reconnected, and now we're here. And I was very, I haven't seen Miss Nancy since we were younger, but I will always hold in my heart how kind she was. And Mr. Vince, how wonderful you were to me, because I didn't have that. I still don't have a relationship with my parents. And I always appreciated how you both showed up in love, and so much love. So thank you. And Rachel, I love you. And I'm so grateful that everything happened the way that it did, and we're reconnected. And I wouldn't have missed this for the world. I love you. I love you too. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Wendy Kaplan. Rachel will be second cousin now. Nancy, her mom, was my first cousin, and I met her mom and her grandparents when they lived out in Hollywood. I don't remember where exactly, but it was like the Miracle 34th Street in Hollywood, if I recall properly. Last time I saw Rachel and Vincent and Nancy is at my brother's wedding, probably back in 1984. I moved back to Sacramento from a long distance way through Oregon and back again. And I think the family line of doing advocacy is in me too, because I do advocacy. I work really hard. I live in Sacramento. I thought, why not? I'm in the government area. Let's do it. So I go there and do that stuff too. And I'm so proud to be part of your family. And I'm so happy that you have a lovely family. And your mom was a wonderful person. And she really was a beautiful soul. So thank you.
Would anyone else like to? So you don't need to come up here to share memories. After the formal service is over, we're going to, as Nancy would have definitely wanted, everybody got to eat. And we can just share memories together, you know, informally, schmoozing, as we say, with each other to honor Nancy. And make sure you get some food, because Nancy wouldn't have wanted people to walk away without eating. We're going to now conclude with the formal Jewish prayers, and then we're really privileged and uplifted because Isa is going to grace us with a dance performance. Is that right? A speech and a dance performance to conclude. So we're going to move from one generation to the next. I'd like to ask you all to stand up if you can for El Malay Rachamim, which is in the inside of the prayer sheet. El Malay Rachamim, Shochen B'mromim, Hametzei Minucha Nechona, Tacha Kanfei Hashchina, B'ma'olot Kedoshim Taharim, Kezohar Harakim Mazhirim, Et Nishmat Noah Bat Yisrael, Shahacha La'olama, Ba'al HaRachamim Yistareha B'tseter Kanfav La'olamim, B'yitzror HaChaim Et Nishmata, Adonai Hu Nachlata V'tanuach V'shalom, Al-Mishkava V'namar Amen. We read together, O God, filled with compassion, you who dwell on high, grant perfect rest to the soul of Nancy Kramer, who has departed from this world. Source of mercy, give her refuge beneath your wings. Weave her spirit into the weft of eternal life. Adonai, you are her inheritance. May she rest in peace. Amen. And we stay standing for the college. Loving God, we praise your name. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah. V'alma divrach ute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayachon v'yomachon v'chayedachol Beit Yisrael. B'agalav izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam omei amaya. Yit barach v'yish tabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit raman v'yit naseh. V'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shemei dekudesha b'richu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. And it's traditional for everyone to speak the last line, which is in bold, and I'll say one word and then you say it. Oseh, shalom, bimramav, hu, ya'aseh, shalom, aleinu, ve'al, kol, Yisrael, ve'al, kol, yoshvei, tevel, vimru, amen. May the one who grants peace up in those high heavens bring a little peace here, God, for us, for Israel and Palestine, and for all who dwell on earth. And we say, amen.
Hello, my name is Isa, and this piece is called My Bubby. Just because I never met my grandmother while she was not ill doesn't mean I don't love her. When she forgot the names of the people she loved, I knew it was time, and I was okay with that. And losing her is fine with me, but it was really hard. And I'm happy that she's not suffering anymore and she's in a better place now. So thank you a lot. I'm gonna share a dance, but I need some time to cool off.
I think if we want to take some time and snack a little, and then we can bring back the celebration when Issa's ready.
Shake, shake, Sinora, shake your body line. Shake, 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 Sinora, shake it all the time. Work, 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 Sinora, work your body line. Work, 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 Sinora, work it all the time. My girl's name is Sonora. I tell you, friends, I adore her. And when she dances, oh brother, she's a hurricane in all kinds of weather. Jump in the line, rock your body on time. Okay, I believe you, jump in the line, rock your body on time. Okay, I believe you, jump in the line, rock your body on time. Okay, I believe you, jump in the line, rock your body on time. Whoa. Shake, 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 Sinora, shake your body line. Whoa. Shake, 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 Sinora, shake it all the time. Work, 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 Sinora, work your body line. Work, 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 Sinora, work it all the time. You can talk about cha-cha, tango, waltz or the rumba. Sinora's dance has no title. You jump in the saddle, hold on to the bridle. Jump in the line, rock your body on time. Okay, I believe you, jump in the line, rock your body, child. Jump in the line, rock your body in time. Somebody help me, jump in the line, rock your body in time. Whoop. Shake, 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 Sinora, shake your body line. Shake, 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 Sinora, shake it all the time. Work, 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 Sinora, work your body line. Yeah. Work, 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 Sinora, work it all the time. Sinora, she's a sensation, the reason for aviation. And fellas, you got to watch it. When she wind up, she bottom, she go like a rocket. Jump in the line, rock your body in time. Okay, I believe you, jump in the line, rock your body in time. Heist those skirts a little higher, jump in the line, rock your body in time. Off the chimney, jump in the line, rock your body in time. Whoa. Shake, 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 Sinora. Shake your body line. Work, 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 Sinora. Work it all the time. Dance, 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 Sinora. Dance it all the time. Work, 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 Sinora. Work it all the time. Sinora dances calypso. Left to right is the tempo. And when she gets the sensation, she go up in the air, come down in slow motion. Jump in the line, rock your body in time. Okay, I believe you, jump in the line, rock your body in time. Somebody help me, jump in the line, rock your body in time. Okay, I believe you, jump in the line, rock your body in time. Oh. Shake, 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 Sinora, shake your body line. Shake, 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 Sinora, shake it all the time. Work, 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 Sinora.
Hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up toward your destination. Though you may find from time to time complications. And take the trip. Though there may be wet road ahead and you cannot slip, just move on up. For peace you'll find into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. So hush not, child, and don't cry. Understand you by and by. the scheme, so keep on pushing. Take nothing less than the supreme best. Do not obey, you must be forsake, but you can pass the test. Just move on up to a greater day. With just a little faith, if you put your mind to it, you can surely do it.
That new breed, ain't no drag. Papa's got a brand new bag. Papa's in the frame.
Make me sweat, make me harder, make me lose my breath, make me water, make me sweat, make me harder, make me lose my breath, make me water.
Normally, I could keep my cool, but tonight I'm whining. I'ma be in a dangerous mood, can you match my timing? Telling me that you're really about it, what you're hiding. Talk is cheap, so show me that you understand I like it. Can you blow my mind? Set off my whole body. If I give you my time, can you snatch my soul from it? I don't wanna wait. Come take me where I ain't been before. Can you blow my mind?
water, no go taste lokodo. Girl, you dey bossy my bololo. Can make a salute your komodo. Girl, if you balance Diego, I give you paper. No go do me Diego, my Maradona. Girl, if I lap your sueto, mama Farisa. Girl, your back, keep it canedo. And I can follow your Cresco, Cresco. Tunde, dale Cresco. Pay for your waist, and I could pay for your lace, a day for your waist. Tunde, dale Cresco. Pay for your waist, I could pay for your lace, Girl, if you balance Diego, I give you paper. No go do me Diego, my Maradona. Girl, if I lap your sueto, mama Farisa. Girl, your back, keep it canedo. And I can follow your Cresco, Cresco.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore can love. Is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart and please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. Is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore can love. Is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart and please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. Love was made for me and you. Love was made for me and you. The very thought of you, and I forget to do the little ordinary things that everyone ought to do. I'm living in a kind of daydream. I'm happy as a king, and foolish though it may seem to me, that's everything. The mere idea of you, the longing here for you. You'll never know how slow the moments go till I'm near to you. I see your face in every flower, your eyes and stars above. It's just the thought of you, the very thought of you, my love. The mere idea of you, the longing here for you. You'll never know how slow the moments go till I'm near to you. I see your face in every flower, your eyes and stars above. It's just the thought of you, the very thought of you, my love. Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far. Like a song of love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me. Never before has someone been more unforgettable in every way. And forevermore, that's how you stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. Unforgettable in every way, and forevermore, that's how you stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. Poets often use many words to say a simple thing. It takes thought and time and rhyme to make a poem sing. With music and words I've been playing, for you I have written a song. To be sure that you'll know what I'm saying, I'll translate as I go along. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness. Hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. That's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Let there be you, let there be me, let there be oysters under the sea, let there be wind, an occasional rain, chili con carne, sparkling champagne. Let there be birds sing in the trees, someone to bless me whenever I sneeze. Let there be cuckoos, a lark and a dove, but first of all, please let there be love. Let there be cuckoos, a lark and a dove, but first of all, please let there be love. 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 Let there be love.
Do you know the way to San Jose? I've been away so long, I may go wrong and lose my way. Do you know the way to San Jose? I'm going back to find some peace of mind in San Jose. LA is a great big freeway. Put 100 down and buy a car. In a week, maybe two, they'll make you a star. Weeks turn into years, how quick they pass. And all the stars that never were are parking cars and pumping gas. You can really breathe in San Jose. They've got a lot of space. There'll be a place where I can stay. I was born and raised in San Jose. I'm going back to find some peace of mind in San Jose. Fame and fortune is a magnet. It can pull you far away from home. With a dream in your heart, you're never alone. Dreams turn into dust and blow away. And there you are, without a friend. You pack your car and ride away. I've got lots of friends in San Jose. Do you know the way to San Jose? LA's a great big freeway. Put 100 down and buy a car. In a week, maybe two, they'll make you a star. Weeks turn into years, how quick they pass. And all the stars that never were are parking cars and pumping gas. I've got lots of friends in San Jose. Oh, do you know the way to San Jose? Can't wait to get back to San Jose.
At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song. Oh yeah, yeah, at last the skies above are blue. My heart was wrapped up in clover. The night I looked at you, I found a dream that I could speak to, a dream that I can call my own. I found a thrill to press my cheek to, a thrill that I have never known. Oh yeah, you smile, you smile. Oh, and then the spell was cast, and here we are in heaven. For you are mine at
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Song, let me sing for